Let me set the scene for you guys real quick. It's 10:30 at night. It's been a long day. You're already lounging in your Bucky Beaver PJs. You don't really want to do much, but oh wait, you check your phone and that order that you've been waiting on is finally in the mailbox. So what do? You gotta go outside, you gotta go to the mailbox, but do you go alone? Do you bring a flashlight? Do you bring a friend? Let's talk about that real quick. That's right, guys. This video is kind of unique. All right, so we came up with this idea about a mailbox gun. Now, it's not some kind of Mark Rober contraption with an actual gun in the mailbox. No, this is more of a self-defense. Whether you're in the country, you have to worry about coyotes or just whatever could be out there. Werewolves, I don't know what's out there. If you're in the city, maybe you got to worry about other sorts of animals that could be potentially a nice risk that might have friends like these, that you need to actually have your own friend to enjoy to make sure you're ready to go at a moment's notice. Now, certainly everything on the table, of course, has been checked, unloaded. You could grab your trusty James Bond Walther P99. Really kind of cool pistol here. Has a anti-stress trigger, single action, or push this little decocker. You have a long double action. Sure, you can shove this in a pocket, but it's kind of dangerous. You really need to cover that trigger guard. All right, so that's an option. Of course, you do want a flashlight. Always have a flashlight. One of my favorite options, actually, especially, let's talk about more of a city where you can't really just throw a rifle on your shoulder. We'll talk about rifles in a second. If you're in the city, in the burbs, in the suburbs, you know, Chipotle right around the corner, maybe grab something like this LCP2. This thing is phenomenal. It's a 380. You can go and throw it in a pocket holster like this, ready to go. 6+1 spicy hollow points, and it works really well. All right, I actually carry this quite a bit. You can kind of see the sides are worn down. I love it. It's a great little carry piece. You just gotta make sure there's nothing else in your pocket, because I have seen these creep out before, and what do you see there exposed? That could be dangerous, right? So make sure there's nothing else in that pocket you're storing. There's no pens, no Burt's Bees, whatever. That's a good option, and it can actually fit really well. Just throw it in any pocket and go to the mailbox, get your package, right? Next up, you could go and grab maybe your shield. This is a Shield Plus. This right here is a, what, 13+1, I think? Yeah, 13+1. Probably one of my favorite concealed carries. I know it's not optics cut. I know there's no light to it, but concealed carry wise, the Shield Plus really nails it. It's a phenomenal size, nice and thin, 13+1. The new triggers that Smith & Wesson's been coming out with are phenomenal. You have a safety, which sometimes I leave on, sometimes you don't need to. You can use the safety. A lot of people kind of don't mind the safety on the Shield, but it's just because your thumb can go and ride if you train with it. If you want to have a safety on, you can just fling your thumb down and it's ready to go. I usually keep it off for the most part, but sometimes I mess around with training with the safety because you never know. It could go bump up and you need to know what you're doing to disengage that safety. But phenomenal trigger. It's an excellent, excellent choice. The Shield's been around a long time, and this is their latest iteration. This is in a holster in the waistband. If you're wearing flannel pants, sweatpants, athletic shorts, whitey tighties, whatever you do at night, I do not judge. This right here is a little heavy. If you're wearing jeans at 10:30 at night, I don't know, man. If you're already after work and you're still wearing jeans, that's the first thing to go, is the pants. But if you're still wearing them, this works great. You know, obviously 13+1 plus another, what, 13+1 on this one? What was this, 10 rounder? 10 round, little shorty with a finger extension on here, so 10+1. Plenty of rounds on target here. Kind of the same thing if you do have some thicker pants on, you can support in the waistband. That's great. Up next, then I'll show you a couple of really cool tricks that I have found without a holster with this type here. I'll show you that. So you can go grab maybe your P365 X Macro. This thing's sweet. I haven't done the full review on it yet. I've been carrying it quite a bit. Got it kind of dirty too at the range. It's like mud and stuff on there. I've been just kind of messing around with reliability, kind of how it runs. Been just throwing rounds through this thing. This allows you to have a light and an optic. Beautiful trigger. And 17+1. That's 17+1 times 2 in this QVO Tactical in the waistband holster. pretty nice. I mean, again, heavy though. Now, going back to the Ruger LCP2 with that potential trigger guard safety issue, right? This is interesting because you always want to make sure that the trigger and the trigger guard is covered, all right, for many reasons, especially if you're just gonna throw a handgun in your pocket. Even if you're walking to the mailbox, safety comes first. So I found a cool product. So let's say you have the Shield. I found this on Amazon. These guys make these folded Kydex clip-ons here for your trigger guard, and all they do, and for particular models, they make them for the Shield, they make them for the Ruger LCP, LCP2, they just click on like that, and now you can carry this gun, particularly in the pocket for short term, like we mentioned, right, to the mailbox, and then you have a string on here. Now this string, just like that. I thought it was a cool product. It's a unique design. And again, for this particular idea of a mailbox type of gun for walking down the driveway, this might be perfect for you. You have more capacity than even the little pocket carry for the Ruger LCP2 and more safety. And again, super easy to deploy. Let's say you're drawing this. Let's do a quick little scenario here. If you had to draw it, first off, you have rounded the chamber, safety off, ready to go. You have it in your pocket. You draw, and as you draw it, you can just train to go and rip that down and fire, right? So you have to remember that you have that on there, but it's a good idea. I'll drop a link below. Again, they make them for a bunch of models, and I think for this particular use case, we can go and say this is a good idea. I wouldn't just carry this as your main pocket carry. You don't want to have a gun rattling around in your pocket. That's why we have Kydex holsters in the waistband. So that way it clicks into place, like this T-Rex arms right here, and it's ready to go and relatively secure. This is my favorite way to carry. Now, a couple of options here as well. If you have the time, you could go with this tried and true Blue Alpha Gear EDC fanny pack. Did a full review on this with a holster in here. It's actually designed for the holster for the X Macro without the light, so it's not gonna fit with that light on there. But this one is pretty cool. So if you have the time, you can probably throw this on, or honestly just like throw it over as a sling bag. I don't know if I'd go with this over just throwing the Shield with this on there for a mailbox. Or again, Ruger LCP2 is one of my favorites, just not a lot of firepower. If you have even more time on your hands and you really just feel like you want to carry the world, you can get this right here. This is called a belly band holster. I'm gonna have this in for a review from Mission First Tactical, and this actually can conceal carry a variety of handguns because it has a spot for them right here, as well as little concealed pockets on either side, right there. So you can put your wallet, whatever, very breathable. You can almost see through. I don't know if you can see in the light, but you can kind of see through it. And this goes in like so. Also has a spot for a spare mag. I don't really carry this too much, a little flashlight slot there, but it's very comfortable. I tried it out. I trimmed it down a little bit from the factory. It's very, very long, designed for pretty much anybody. Mission First Tactical belly band, if you have a lot of time. Now, wrapping this up, if you live in the country, congratulations, because you can just carry whatever you want if you don't have to worry about the neighbors looking at you carrying stuff around. So might I suggest MP5K. This is my AP5P from MKE out of Turkey. Took the can off, threw it on another handgun that you'll be seeing a full review on here shortly, but you can see it has a mod light right here, just offset the sides of the can kind of goes, if I do short configurations, about like out to here. That way the light doesn't have that can shadow on here. But this right here is just a nice little thing. You can go and click on a sling if you'd like, a little bungee sling, throw it over your shoulder. I've done a full review on it. You can just kind of just balance it under here, take it to the mailbox with you. It has a safety on there. There's a silly block on here for the giggle switch, but you know, whatever, it's fine. The non-giggle switch version is still fun. And 20 round, yep, 20 rounder. So for YouTube guys out there, pretty nice, easy to carry to your mailbox down that country old road. But if that doesn't tickle your fancy, may I suggest the tried and true American rifle right here. This is from Cox Arms, made in the USA. I've done a lot of work to it. And this thing is a blast, 100% reliable, great weight to it even with that 16-inch barrel on there with the rugged suppressor on the end. Surefire, light, plenty bright. This is probably the way to go. Honestly, you can sling it over your shoulder, you can sling it over like you would carrying it like so. Yeah, if you don't have to worry about people looking at you all funny, this is the way to go. I mean, what, 19 rounds of American Freedom on there? Like, that's perfect. Perfect, right? Phenomenal. Cox Arms Guardian. Great, great rifle. Now, if you're really kind of feeling nostalgic like I tend to do, if you don't want to go to the 90s Bond, what is that? You use the P99 from Tomorrow Never Dies through Casino Royale, I believe, is the P99. But more nostalgic than that, sometimes, just feel a little frisky, take the M1 carbine out, and that has 3 mags with this right here, which is nice. All right, you got 3 mags on here. No light, but honestly, just grab a good flashlight. Just run it like that. I mean, it's tried and true. I mean, it worked in the Pacific, worked in, I think they use these in the Atlantic theater quite a bit, but I know the Pacific is kind of where this kind of shined, but yeah, I mean, you can't really beat that, what, 15, 15, 15? And this one is, it's right here, 30 carbine, a nice little spicy round. So if you're feeling kind of nostalgic, you can throw this over your shoulder and away you go to get your mail. Get that package you've been waiting for all day in the summer sun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought of this idea, and actually me and my buddy, Tactical Toolbox, we're just kind of spitting around this idea. I thought it was a good idea because it's something that we do use on the regular. I mean, I'm always carrying, no matter where we are, if you leave the house, technically you're leaving the house when you get the mail, I still throw something in my pocket, walking the dog. I mean, you never know nowadays. Throw something in your pocket, more than just that box of Tic Tacs, and have something you can actually use and utilize. I mean, worst case, if you live in a crazy state, get some pepper spray, get a knife, get something. Just have something on you. You never know these days. There's all those Ring camera footage showing up on people who like open their door, whether there's a stranger out there or maybe they don't know someone's out there, and things can escalate quickly. And that's why sometimes you want to have the power to handle any scenario. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions about any of the setups you've seen today, I'll be happy to answer them down in the comments. Take care, be safe.